Good afternoon or good morning to all of you who are watching this video. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the phrase or the structure have something done, and then the third conditional. Nothing to be nervous about, there is nothing too complicated to be afraid of. So without further ado, let us start with have something done structure. As you can see here, this phrase consists of three things. Firstly, of the verb have, then a noun which functions as the object in the sentence, and then finally of the verb of your own choice which describes what happens with the objects. For example, I had my car cleaned last week. You may ask yourself, why would you use this construction have something done here if you can simply say that someone cleaned my car? This would imply that some random stranger went up to your car and decided to clean it without asking you. Sentence I had my car cleaned means that you talked to someone in advance and arranged that your car gets cleaned. So this construction have something done can also be used when you want to express that something unpleasant happened to you. For example, I had my mobile phone stolen yesterday. Now I would like you to rewrite the sentences with the correct form of have something done, making sure that the tense stays the same, like in the first example. Jessica hasn't restyled her hair, present perfect. Jessica has had her hair restyled. Firstly, you decipher which tense was used. Then you look for the object of the sentence, and finally all you have to do is put the past participle of the main verb of the first sentence after the object. Once you've done that, you are good to go to the next example. So take your time, and once you're done, unpause the video to check your answers. Let us check the answers now. Harry won't remove his tattoo. Harry will have his tattoo removed. They didn't paint their house last year. They had their house painted last year. Sam isn't repairing his car. Sam is having his car repaired. Dave isn't going to install a new shower. Dave is going to have a new shower installed. Sally didn't make the dress. Sally had the dress made. We are not going to build a new garage. We are going to have a new garage built. In this task, all you have to do is recognize the tense which was used in the first sentence and then put the verb have in the very same tense in the second sentence. So this shouldn't take long. I haven't serviced my car. I had it serviced. We aren't building a new house. We are going to have a new house built. Or we are having a new house built. I'm not going to clean the carpets. I'm going to have the carpets cleaned. Did you cut down the tree or did you have it cut down? We didn't make new curtains. We had them made. And now that you have mastered have something done structure, we can turn our attention to the third conditional. What would you have eaten last night if you'd had the choice? I'd have eaten lasagna and garlic bread in my favorite restaurant. How about you? As you can see here, the third conditional is formed by two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. In the if clause, you should always use past perfect tense, whereas in the main clause, you use would have plus past participle construction. For example, what would you have eaten? So would have eaten, would have plus past participle of the verb to eat. And then in the if clause, past perfect. If you'd had the choice of if you had had the choice. Or if John had arrived earlier, he would have seen the start of the film. What do we use the third conditional for? We used it to speculate about imaginary result of things which didn't happen. If I had driven faster, we would have arrived before 6. We also use the third conditional to express criticism or regrets. You would have passed if you hadn't been so lazy. If I had been more careful, I wouldn't have hurt myself. One more thing which shouldn't be a problem to you is this abbreviation the, which stands for the past simple of the verb to have. I'd means I had driven faster in this example on the left. Now let's practice a bit. I would like you to pause the video and write third conditional sentences starting with the words in brackets. If you hadn't spent all your money on magazines, you would have been able to afford the CD. We would have bought the television if it had been in the sale. If Andy hadn't lost his receipt, he would have got or gotten a refund. Maisie wouldn't have borrowed money from David if she had saved her pocket money. If he hadn't lent Liam £10, Philip would have had a lot of money. For this final task of this lesson, all you need to do is build third conditional sentences using words separated by these slashes. You don't need to change the word order, just pay attention to which tense you use in the if clause and which in the main clause. And here are the correct questions. Sentence number 2. What would you have eaten for breakfast if you had had the choice? It may appear strange to you that the past perfect form of have is had, but it is not. You know that the past perfect tense consists of the past simple form of have and the past participle, and since the past participle of have is also had, this construction had is the correct past perfect form of the verb have, so this need not confuse you. Then sentence number 3. Which country would you have visited if you had gone away last summer? What would you have bought last weekend if you had had lots of money? Which film would you have seen if you had gone to the cinema last night? Who would you have visited last night if you had had the time? And with that, we have come to the end of another video. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.